Uh, Tori. So, where are you from?
I'm born in St. Louis, but I'm pretty much from Branson.
Now, are you
Missouri.
actually from St. Louis, or are you from like St. Charles,
Um,
Washington?
Born in Arnold, Missouri.
Okay, 45 minutes out of the city.
Yeah, it's still close to St. Louis County. Yeah,
Okay, so you've been in Branson for how long?
17 years.
What took you down there?
My parents uh got a job doing timeshare.
Who'd they work with?
I do not remember. I was young. I didn't really care what they did as a teenager. I didn't really care what they did.
So did you go to Branson school?
Only for like 6 months. Dad worked in Branson but lived in Nixa.
Yeah.
A lot of people do with Branson. So I still went to Nixa schools a lot and then spent like summers and weekends in Branson with my mom.
I did my student teaching at Branson in 2018. It's a good school system. Big.
It is a great school system.
Yeah. For a town of only 10,000 people, their tax base is just massive. So
Yeah.
they have a lot of things that most schools don't get that size.
Yeah, the money's there for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, their facilities.
Yeah.
And their teachers are paid well, actually, too. So that was like 17 years. So if you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to answer this, August. How old were you? 16, 17 at that time?
I'm 33 now. They started to move. We still back and forth. My mom was a drug addict, and then my dad was following churches. So it was really back and forth. So it's hard for me to pin down exactly, but probably when I was like 15. It's Branson.
So how did you feel moving from St. Louis to Branson as a teenager?
It's all very podunk. Cracker Barrel esque is what I say. Everything in Branson is like, it's just like if you just added a Cracker Barrel to everything, that's what it is. Silver Dollar City. It was kind of cool because my mom was in active addiction, so there was a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
That probably shouldn't have been there, but was nice as a teenager that wanted to rebel.
Just do what you want.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
Right.
Because we got that, where my dad was much more strict and religious.
So you said your dad was following churches?
Uh, Not as culty as it sounds, but he was just a Southern Baptist. Right now, he's followed a church to Georgia from Oklahoma, so he's still following churches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 15, 16 years old-ish, or from St. Louis to Branson, and your parents moved together at that time? And
It was so back and forth. I'm maybe like 12, 13 is whenever the move to Branson happened. And then 15 or 16, they separated. And then it was Branson full time with mom.
And did they stay in timeshare very long?
My dad did. And then my mom kind of trickled off with her addiction. She still ran phone rooms, but she wasn't over such a big timeshare organization like they.
Okay.
But she still ran phone rooms, so she was still in the industry.
So parents separate, dad's ultra religious, but not cultish, but ultra religious.
It's not as culty as it sounds, but there were some of the churches that were just stuff like you don't talk to other members if they've left the church, stuff like that. So there was just not a lot of freedom.
So, if you don't mind, I'll ask about mom's addiction.
Yeah.
So, were mom and dad ever addicted at the same time? Did dad ever deal with that?
Dad was just enraged that God wouldn't fix her.
Okay.
He's never a drinker. He was never, he probably dabbled in his teenage years, but he was never on that side of it. And she was, from the time I was 6 months old, she started using, and she stopped when I turned 18.
Oh, wow.
So pretty much my entire childhood. But she's done nothing but make up for lost time
That's awesome.
and what she did
Right.
as a mother.
Any siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 older.
So how old were they when you guys moved down there?
Oh, I'm so bad at math. One is 5 years older than me.
16,
One
17.
is like a year and a half.
So all teenagers.
Yeah.
Or below.
Yeah.
Did they, when they graduated or moved, did they move away or did they stay in the area?
We're all still in the area.
That's good. I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, we stay close to mom.
So she starts using 6 months old, you said?
Yeah.
What took her, if you know, what took her down that path at that age?
I have no idea. I know she tells her story in the recovery ministry that we're a part of. And I remember she said that I was about 6 months old and she was looking at herself in the mirror one day and she had this medicine in her hand and she said, "This took the physical pain away. Maybe it'll take away the pain I feel inside." That's the first time she used opiates in an addictive manner. And it was just a wrap after that.
So what's the ministry you're involved in now?
Standing by the Door ministry in Branson. It's a recovery ministry. 12-step base. There's also faith stuff involved. So we primarily hit the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. But we also do offer a church service and spirituality classes as well.
Nice.
But we really hit hard the 12 steps. She's been the director of that for 9, almost 10 years.
I may have met her
You probably have.
about 3 years ago. Yes. I had an employee that came to me at one day and I was just back to being a manager. She said, "I need help." And I was like, okay, what kind of help? She's like, "I went to a concert in Rogers last night and I woke up somewhere else this morning. I have no idea how I got there, where my car is. And this isn't the first time. And I'm scared I need help." So I called my sister. I said, "Hey, how do I get her into standing by the door?" So I went with her and her parents. Her parents weren't happy about her checking in there. So, and I'm pretty sure sorry, so that's cool. So how long have you been involved with that ministry?
We came over in 16 and it was just 2 men's houses at the time. And now it yeah.
So how many are that? Would they be residents or how many
clients?
How many clients?
Clients. At any given. There's give or take, obviously, but
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. It's awesome that programs like that are out there.
Yeah.
I've worked with several people that were standing by the door. Different phases in their sobriety. You know, I've seen some go back and some never have to go back.
No.
No, addiction is no joke. So you're in the program as well?
I don't live in one of the houses, but I've always been involved in the program, since 2006.
Okay. And you deal with your own personal struggles, right?
Yeah, my struggle, I do have, I still obviously am an addict. Outside of a few 6-month little deals, whenever I've been clean since I was 19.
Nice.
I got it all done really early, and outside of a few relapses, I've been.
Well, that's good. 19. So your daughter
Mhm.
has never known you not clean.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's gotta feel good.
Yeah.
So you were 19 when you got clean. What was your vice? Alcohol, drug.
As an IV drug user.
Wow. How long?
I mean, I started, like I said, my mom was a drug addict, so I had the freedom. So I started when I was like 12 doing serious drugs. I started at like 10 and 11, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol. Uh, but I didn't need no amount by the time I was 13. So that's hard for people to even wrap their heads around.
Yeah.
But when you're in that lifestyle, it's just the only thing that's seemed normal.
Right.
It's what the people around me were doing. It's what.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and to think about her being where she's at now in life, the biggest concern is what do I wear? Yeah. Who's taking me to dance tonight?
Yeah, it was wild.
To go from that to where you were at 13, it's just serious. Fast forward to 19, all of a sudden you get clean. What was it that snapped that made you say, yeah, I can't do it?
So I got sober at 19, and my mom got sober when I was 18. So there was just some hope that I knew I was like her in the area of drinking and drugging. Thought maybe I could be like her and get sober.
I hope you've shared that with her.
Yes. Yeah, we're very close. Yeah, she knows.
Because, I mean, that's got to be a big deal for her.
She has a lot of guilt, remorse, and stuff. But yeah, we try to make up nowadays.
Yeah. It's awesome that you guys have worked together, have a good relationship now. So has she been at any relapses or anything since?
Not since the day she got sober.
So 19, where do you go from there? Do you stay in Branson for a while? What do you do?
Well, she actually had charges in Harrison, Arkansas. So we lived up there for a while and just went to A in Harrison. But Princeton's hard to find work. So I ended up working back in Branson because it's just a 30-minute drive straight highway. So it wasn't too bad. When I was 22, I met my ex-wife in Branson.
With your father being ultra religious, do you have a relationship with him?
My dad, not at the time, mainly because it seems like he wanted kids. He didn't really want adult children with adult problems.
Okay.
So there's still some resentment for me towards him and just his expectations of us to just go from the childhood that they gave us and then to expect us to just be normal, upstanding citizens is pretty crazy to me. And my mom understands that we're messed up because of a lot of what. So it's just the difference of opinion or the difference of reality or whatever. So I haven't talked to him in a couple of years.
Okay.
Not because he's religious, just because he's intolerant.
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty wild expectation to like.
Yeah, just to not want to help us if anything goes wrong or anything. Like, we're just not your kids anymore. It's pretty wild. Having just one of my own. I couldn't imagine not offering her help or assistance when she. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're never not your kids.
Yeah.
Or at least
that's the idea I got. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of the way we feel. And
yeah.
Our daughter and her husband live in our backyard, yeah. And we love them there.
Oh, it should be, yeah.
Right, like, it's awesome as far as I'm concerned. People are like, "You ready to move out?" I'm like, no, they help us as much as we help them.
Yeah,
it's not. It's a group effort around here, so I don't want to clean the front toilet.
Yeah,
because you did that one. When did you come out as far as to your parents?
I always
yourself.
tell people I didn't come out. I just came out of the womb gay.
Okay.
There was no questioning or denying as I got older that I was. So I never really had to have that conversation with anyone. Like, my hair's been short since I was 13 years old. I just present gay, and I always have.
Oh, there you go. Sorry to go back to the religious stuff.
You're fine.
Was that an issue with dad at all?
It was a kind of an underlying issue. It was never spoke about or talked about. Like I said, I met my wife, and whenever we would visit him in Oklahoma, we would sleep in the same bed, but it was nothing we ever talked about. But it was there. He wasn't like blatantly, like, not under my roof or anything like that. Because he knew it was only going to push me away. Probably do that later on.
Okay, so your daughter's 7.
Yeah.
So who, if you don't mind me asking, biological dad, who is he involved at all with your daughter?
He's not at the moment. Me and my ex-wife Kaylee used a known donor, which is a friend of ours, and he was just willing to do it, and he didn't seem like he was going to have those strong paternal instincts of mine.
Right.
So he just seemed like a great choice at the time, and so we used a known donor, and we had her on the first try.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's like a 25% success rate every time you try, and I think that's in a facility.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's pretty impressive. First try. This is your wife. Ex-wife. That's your ex-wife. Are you still involved as far as your child goes?
Yeah. She's coming to see me for Thanksgiving.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we still get along. Me and her mom, we FaceTime and talk, and me and Kaylee will still FaceTime sometimes to talk about stuff. She's with a man now, and they have 4 kids under the age of 7 or younger.
Oh, wow.
So they've got a busy life there, and I've got like this single life in Branson. So Shy kind of gets the world. She doesn't have siblings. I don't have to raise any other kids.
Well, that's good.
Works out great for me.
That's a good match.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you get clean at 19, which is incredible. I don't know how you made it.
Me either.
Out.
No, actually, I 11 times, maybe 12. He's overdosing. So, Sean in the hospital has been involved in bringing me back to life, or the ambulance has been involved in bringing back to life. Some of them have just been friends with Narcan. It's kind of impressive.
Well, if you would have told me that first, I would have expected the first try with a child.
Yeah. That's lucky.
I mean, come on. Yeah. Like, I'm surprised you even had to actually try. Baby. All right.
Here it is.
Here it is. Drop. Yeah. That's pretty. So how old were you the first time you overdosed?
Remember, probably the first few times were like 16, 17, 18. I know that 6 of them were in the 6 months after my divorce. I had a 6-month relapse after my divorce. Which I don't remember what year that was, but it was a few years ago. So 6 of them were just in that period of time. So the people in my life were just waiting for that phone call.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's a hard phone call to wait for.
Yeah. I scared a lot of you.
So 6 of them were in that 6-month period of time. Do you feel like some of them were on purpose? I mean, were you trying to kill yourself by that time?
I definitely didn't care if I lived or died. I don't think that I was intentionally setting out to die. I just didn't want to feel anything at all. And fentanyl is just consuming everything. So that's what was available at the time.
That's what I was going to ask that. So was that IV?
Mm-hmm. And then I just had friends bring Narcan over that still talk to me and care about me. And so we just had a steady supply of Narcan so we could keep getting high. stay alive.
Narcan is one of those things that we had to have it around here for my mother, just because of actually every time we went to the doctor to pick up her actual prescriptions, they'd be like, with this amount,
Yeah.
do you have Narcan? Or,
Yeah.
we have it. And I'm glad it exists because it's saved some lives.
Yeah.
I also have to wonder, does it become a crutch at some point?
Definitely makes the fear of dying a lot less intense whenever it could very easily not work. I've had them try 3 or 4 times on me before to get me back to life, to the point where I would wake up with a bloody nose and bloody scratch because they were just getting so scared that I wasn't going to make it back up.
And you can't use too much Narcan, right?
I'm not sure about.
I don't think
so.
I think I remember the pharmacist being like, and don't worry, like, if she doesn't need it and you use it, it's not going to be a detriment. It's not going to. I'm just trying to think of how I died that many times. When you came to the last time, when you had that relapse?
Yeah.
When did you say, okay, yeah, I'm done with this?
Whenever like we were planning it out, to not get dope sick, and I just realized if I have enough control to not to get high and then wait a few days and then get high and wait a few days, I could probably just not get high anymore. So once I was so in fear of being dope sick and realized I had that sense of control over at least staying off it for those few days, and I was just done. Went back to staying by the door and it was just done. I went,
Well, what'd you find your way back? That's got to be even more magnified now that you have a child.
yeah. Yeah, I couldn't imagine not being around.
When you look at her childhood and your childhood, right? I think we have to compare our childhood sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I compare my childhood to my wife's, right? When we're raising our children. What do you pull from yours when it comes to being a mom?
What do you mean, like what?
What kind of motivation? What do you, when you look at your childhood and you look at your daughters? What's the story look like in your mind for your daughter? Like what compared to your childhood?
Oh, a lot better. A lot better. She's seen none of the addiction, a little bit of the bipolar, but she's been shielded from a lot of it. Thanks a lot to her other mother, Kaylee.
That's good. When she gets older, will she know more about what you've been through?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, she's 7 now, so obviously you don't.
We don't need to talk about it now.
Hey, let's play Barbies and talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm sure she open with her just like my mom is with me.
You mentioned bipolar, right? When did you first realize that was?
And whenever I was 21 or 22 or 23. Because I had met Kaylee, we had been together a while, I had been sober a while. That's whenever we realized that something wasn't right. And my ex-wife, encouraged me to go to a doctor. And it started off with anxiety, and then it was anxiety and depression, and then it was bipolar after that. And it's been bipolar now. I'm 33 now, so it's been bipolar.
You have it under control pretty well.
Yes, finally. But through a lot of things that I have to do every day, as far as managing a routine. I'm very med compliant. I take my medicine all the time, whether I feel like it or not. Just everything kind of revolves around minimizing these episodes because they still come.
Right.
But it's a matter of, is it going to last a month, a week, or a few days? Now we got them down to a few days.
Yeah.
So,
and how often do you still have to deal with?
Probably once a month now. And then, like I said, they're just like 3 days. So they're not like they used to be. Last year, I didn't have Shia, my daughter, for 7.5 months because it was so bad. Now I can see that I had no business having her because I was so enraged and suicidal. But in the moment, it was just heartbreaking to not have her. But her mother kept her from seeing me for her well-being.
Yeah.
So grateful for it now. Didn't understand it in the moment, of course.
I mean, your mind at that time is not going to understand it at all.
It just felt like a form attack.
Right.
But for 7.5 months without her, I would say all of last year was spent pretty much locked up inside my camper that I live in. Just locked up and calling people and cussing them out and screaming at God, wanting to kill myself. It was just that for about a year, with almost no coming up for air, no relief. It was just that.
During that time, how did you manage to stay sober during that time?
Because at that point, I had realized addiction was so much work that I had to find the drugs. People didn't want to sell me drugs because I'm a liability at this point because I die so frequently.
That's valid.
And my mom runs a recovery program and knows all their POs.
Okay.
And their probation officers and all that. So for many reasons, people just would not get me high. So it seemed just as easy to lay there day after day and be miserable than it did to get high. Try not to get dope sick, try to get Narcan, try to get stuff without fentanyl in it. It was just such a chore.
Right.
That I was just over it, I guess.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because I may not have made it out of dark hole, yeah.
I mean, I would assume that if you were having that suicidal tendencies anyway,
yeah,
and then that place
would not have been it. So something kept me from doing it.
During that time period, I know you were dealing with suicidal thoughts. Did you try to act on it?
No, I would just call people and rage out and scream at them. And I don't know, I wanted to. I wanted to not exist anymore. Maybe because I had a kid at this point, I didn't want to be by my own hand.
Right.
But I don't know, because I wanted to not be alive anymore.
Seems like it has to be something about your daughter in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah.
To me, it seems I'm not bipolar, right? I've been around it, but I'm not. And I know being around other mental health issues that there's always an internal battle going on, right? This part of my will to survive, my will to be is overpowering this part. And I would think in that time in your life, it had to be about.
Yeah, it's the only thing that was different.
Because you've been in other dark places like that before. Had you, as far as the bipolar goes, had you ever been in a place that was that dark before that? I mean, and for that extent of time?
No. Not for a year.
Really?
Yeah. She had the whole year of it.
Was it right after the divorce?
I don't remember now. My memory's really bad because of it was maybe a year or two after the separation, maybe a year after the divorce. So it was probably that 6 months of getting high, some brief recovery, and then right into.
So most of that, the 6 months, the brief, the year, all of that was pretty much in about a 2.5 year time span ish.
Yeah.
That's a lot shoved into that short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you're still having this conversation is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've been through a lot, it feels like.
Yeah, that's exhausted sometimes. Do you ever just sit in front of the television and go, yeah, I'm just tired?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't realize how bad it is until you sit down and like, talk about it too, I guess. Because it's just your reality. It just is what it is. It's what happened.
Right.
I mean, I knew that year was bad. And then you just get used to the fact that you died 11 times. And you're in a program like standing at the door where everyone else has died a lot too. So it just loses its impact. And you start telling stories around normal people, and you're like, oh, okay, that's not good.
you're at dinner, somebody new, first date conversation. Yeah, how many times have you died? I'm sorry, what? I choked on a steak once. No, like actually died. I have never died.
That's crazy to me.
I've gotten the Heimlich once.
Yeah.
That was about it.
You can't shove it in your face?
No.
It's crazy.
I've never even been around it being used. Like, yes, we've had it on hand, but never been in that situation.
Apparently it's terrifying. Other people have told me. I've always been the one out. So
I was going to ask that.
I've never had to save anyone else. And I actually,
kind of a bummer. Yeah, I was always the designated driver in high school because I could never depend on my friends to not drink.
Yeah.
You're that person.
Yeah. I'm the dyer of the group. And I OD in a very strange way. Most people OD instantaneously. Mine will take a few minutes, and then I'll seize out, and then I'll die. So what happens is whenever you're a drug addict, you need to go off the buddy system.
Okay.
So we get our whatever ready, and I do mine, and you wait a few minutes till you do yours in case I need Narcan. And then I'm okay to Narcan you if you need Narcan. This is all normal up here. But I have this few minute period where I'm fine. And people around me think that they can do theirs.
Oh, shit.
And then they're off the rockers. I'm dying. It's a really weird way to OD from what I've been told.
Have you ever had a buddy that's like, yeah, I'm not doing this again with you because I'm always having to save you?
No. I've had a lot of people say, don't come to my house. I'm not selling you anymore. I've had a lot of people tell me that. Because like I said, I'm a liability.
Right.
They don't want to be given to someone who dies as easily as I do.
It's happening.
Yeah. I was pretty mad at him for a while, but...
for the better.
Yeah,
so.
It's okay.
So it feels odd to ask if you were a healthy child before you died so much. Any other health issues besides?
No.
Like,
I've never broken a bone, had like a seizure or anything like that would make me think my brain would be susceptible to just giving out on its own. Never. No.
Okay, so
healthy.
So healthy, other than the dying, habitual dying.
Yeah.
So after your 6 months, after you get back sober, you go through massive bipolar, and you start coming back to the program. Right? Because I assume during that year when you've kind of locked yourself away, were you still active in the program at all?
No, I would come around very randomly and selectively, and sometimes just leave mad that they couldn't fix me in what I was dealing with right now. But no, I was not active in the program, so I had to slowly start coming back. Everything was slow. After that year, I had to get off of the medication that was making me worse. I had to get on a whole new set of medication. So I had to taper off a medication. That took like 6 months. I had to get on a whole new set of medications. And that's a whole process that takes for getting the milligrams right, the types of medicines right. I had to decide if I was going to go back to work or if I was going to try to get on disability. It was just everything was really slow moving.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go back there again. I needed to get it right.
Right. So, was there something particular that really set off that year, or was it just, okay, meds aren't working anymore?
I think it was this one medication, Lamictal, that I was on, and I don't want to say every medication is different for everybody. And there's no saying one med is going to be whatever, but I do believe that it was making it worse, and I had to go to 3 different psychiatrists before I could get one to take me off of it. And the one that finally took me off of it because my mom came in and said, "This is what we're going to do. We're not asking you." And then she finally agreed to take me off of it, and that's what started the 6 month taper. But once we looked it up online, that was rage and suicidal ideation or tendencies or whatever were the long-term use of this medication that I had been on for 8 years. So as soon as my mom had researched it a little bit, we went to the psych doctor, we got off of it. It took a while to get off of all those meds. Because I just said I wanted a clean slate for once in my adult life. I wanted to see what my brain was like. Maybe I'm not bipolar. Turns out I'm very much still bipolar. So we got on different meds, and yeah, it was just everything was very slow moving.
That's the problem with a lot of the psych drugs is it takes so long to get out of your system and it's so long to build back up.
Yeah.
And by the time you find out one of them's not working very well,
you're dependent on it. Yeah, you have to take her off of it.
Yeah.
You can't just stop taking them.
I'm glad your mom.
Yeah, she still comes with me to a lot of my appointments because that year wasn't that long ago. So she still comes with me to a lot of my appointments. I think a lot because the appointments are kind of triggering for me if I'm not feeling heard or advocated for or whatever. So she still helps me out a lot in that area.
How did she deal with that?
Prayer, I'm sure. Just a lot of prayer and waiting for a really bad outcome. It's all I would say every day was I had wanted to die. And why won't your God fix me? All these terrible things. So I'm sure she was just waiting in the same sense as she was waiting during the 6 months for the phone call that I had killed myself just in 2 ways. She didn't know what to do.
And when you look at, like, your mom's been so active in the program, the director, and been entering it forever, I always try to look at this from a couple of different perspectives. If she doesn't know what to do, I'd look at somebody who has a child or a grown adult, right? They're never not our kids, like you said, right? It doesn't matter how old they are. If that person doesn't know how to do it, and their kid's gone, how do they possibly keep sane, hopeful? You know, at least from your mom's perspective, I assume that there's been successes through standing by the door that can help encourage those moments and give her strength in dealing with things.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And just whether it's a bipolar suicidal tendency or a drug-induced suicidal tendency, just stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also different when it's your own kid.
Yeah.
No matter how. Yeah.
But I think standing by the door is probably what kept her going. Her being able to give back altruistically and be a part of a ministry where everyone knew what I was going through. And all these people around her loved and cared about me too. So staying by the door probably helped her more than she realizes during that year.
Is there, I know there's people that are bipolar that weren't drug users, that didn't deal with addiction. And maybe you don't know this, I'm not asking you to write a psychology book or anything.
Yeah.
But do you know if there's any connection to the level of bipolar you deal with as an adult to your drug use as a child?
There's probably a lot of like brain scans and stuff you can do if you have the money to do that. A lot of bipolar has been coming to realize it might have more to do with traumatic brain injuries that were left untreated. So it could, it could be just terrible for a developing brain.
I mean, your brain was way far from developed when you started.
Yeah.
I mean, not
I just can't. Yeah, over and over and over.
The amount of self destroying yourself. It seems like it has to have a long-term effect on that.
Yeah, it very well might.
Now, or how are your episodes lately? Are you been lately?
My last one lasted 3 days, which is great. And I didn't call and cuss anybody out.
That's good.
I didn't want to kill myself.
Nice. These are all positives.
Yeah, I just, I had a doctor tell me, I don't remember which doctor, one of the many doctors I've seen, has told me when I go through an episode, manic or depressed, to treat it like I'm sick. Like I had the flu. Go home, rest, eat and drink, take a bath, take care of yourself, and don't go out because you're gonna infect other people, and your bipolar is gonna react off of it. So I've been trying to live by that lately, and that's been helping me a lot.
That makes a lot of sense.
Just to stay inside, curl up in my bed with my dog. I have an amazing pup. But yeah, that's probably some of the best advice I've been given about bipolar is.
It makes a lot of sense. You really don't think about that. In fact, from an outsider perspective, sometimes it seems like you try to get those people out of the house, right? Like, get out of the house, get out of the dark room, get out. If the world is a bunch of triggers for you,
yeah, it's temporary. Write it out.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So that was only 3 days. So that's good.
3 days, and that's what they've been for the last couple months. They were obviously lasting a long time, and we got down to like a month where I would come up for air for a few days and then go back into one. Go back up and go back in. And they'd be good for a month. I say an episode every 1 to 2 months, lasting about 3 to 4 days is what we're at now. Which is amazing. I mean, I had people that it was just too heavy for people in my life to deal with, and these are people that deal with heavy things. Just a heavy. That was loud or not? She's vaping.
Yeah, she didn't even ask. That's my sister, of course. Yeah. Of course, she's not going to ask. Yeah. She used to live in this room. She's vaped in it before. Of course, it didn't have this cool outlet wall that my son-in-law did for me.
That's nice. It was,
yeah. Threw that up there.
Your son did that?
My son-in-law, Justice in Austin. I couldn't ask for a better son-in-law.
It's great.
Yeah.
Family's great.
Yeah, he's good. He makes her laugh. So I want to slap him sometimes too. Or slap him sometimes too. It's good. All you want is your kid to find somebody that makes him happy. So that's all I want. So your new medicine, have you been on the same one since then? And I assume that your mother seems proactive enough that she's probably done any research possible on long-term effects of this medicine.
Yeah. I got back on lithium, which I was on in my early 20s, because I was listening to the podcast in the middle of the night, and it talked about lithium being the powerhouse for bipolar, and I just decided right then and there I went back on lithium, which is a controversial med and might not be great for everybody, but it's one of the stronger ones in my lineup. But I'm on the lithium. I'm on olanzapine, which keeps me from going into psychosis when I do go into an episode. So it's just an episode. It's not these psychotic breaks in my life. I take an anti-anxiety medicine. I take a like a lorazepam as needed, just to calm me down when I get too amped up. I think that's it. So I'm 6 or 7 meds now, which seems it's a lot to a lot of people to take 6 or 7 medications every day, but it's what I have to do.
Well,
so
it works.
yeah, it works. Slowly but surely, we're getting the episodes down lower and lower and more normal time.
I think, and like I said, I'm not bipolar, so I've never had that type of episode. But it seems like shutting down from the world for 3 days at a time, once a month, is not horrible.
Yeah, it's not. It's
compared
not what you want to do.
Compared to what you've been through.
Yeah, it's not what you want to do because everything in your head, like you're saying, everybody says, get out, do more, don't isolate. I've had so many people tell me not to isolate when isolation is the one thing I have to do.
Right.
To not cause harm to the other people around me and myself. Because the more I'm out in society, the more I'm making it worse on myself.
Right.
And it's not so bad. You just get to kick back and watch your shows and just relax.
Binge watch a new series.
Yeah. It's not so bad. It's hard to do sometimes because in an episode, it's very hard to be still. So sometimes it's just me at home pacing the floors in my house if it's a more manic episode than it is a depressive. So it's not easy, but it's what works for me.
That's what I was going to ask, if it's the difference between, you'll have episodes, some are manic, some are depressive.
Yeah, some are more like I want it. Well, suicide can happen on both ends. I actually have, it's called mixed bipolar. So the productivity, creativity, the euphoria, I don't get those. So I always say I got screwed on getting screwed. But I do get the agitation, the energy, but it's not a happy energy. It's a very negative energy, but it's still energy in your body. And then the depressive, the suicidal, that stuff. So my episodes kind of go back and forth in between the two. They're not a traditional upswing, downswing, back to normal, like most people deal with. A few days off, a few days down.
So you don't overdose normally. You don't have bipolar episodes normally.
Yeah.
It's also
I'm not normal.
So is there anything you do normal? Normal's overrated.
Yeah.
For the most part, I guess. So did you binge watch a series last time you had an episode?
What did I start? I started, what is it called? The House of David. Yeah. On Prime. It's about the biblical story of David. Obviously, there's some theatrical stuff added for effect. But like I said, I only got like 3 episodes in because I was pacing the house and not being still. But I definitely crawled into bed as soon as I got home one day. I knew it was coming. And I just crawled into bed with my clothes on and my shoes on and everything on, and I don't do that. I wear my PJs and I get in bed and I have a whole nighttime routine, but it was just down for the count.
So what does it feel like when you kind of start to realize changing?
Normally, I'm really easygoing. I'm pretty chill with whatever's going on. I don't get mad about a lot of things, but I get very agitated at stuff, dumb stuff. I don't even know how many appointments I have to go to or people that's standing by the door. Just agitation is probably my biggest like warning sign because I'm so just easygoing. I'm pretty hippie. I'm pretty just an easygoing person. So agitation is my biggest. Something not right.
And you're pretty well able to pick up on that, or does your mom say, "Hey"?
My mom says, "Hey," and I also have a sheet that I fill out every day, and it tracks whether I'm manic, neutral, or depressed. So I mark that on this little chart, and then I write down my sleep pattern, what I slept the night before, when I slept, when I fell asleep, when I woke up, and then I have like a little summary throughout my day. So I can start seeing if I'm a little anxious throughout the days, but I'm not necessarily getting mad, that one still might be coming on. And I've been doing that since March or April. So I got like a stack of sheets.
Were you?
'Cause I do it every week.
You've been able to predict them pretty well.
Yeah. And then it allows me to go back and see what was going on that caused it. Was I not sleeping enough?
Did you get that idea from one of your doctors?
That one was from my case manager. I have a team of amazing doctors right now. I have a case manager through Burl in Branson, Missouri. I have an amazing therapist through Family Therapy of the Ozarks in Springfield, Missouri, but that's on my phone. And then I have my psych doctor. Now I have like a chiropractor and pain management, but that's for a whole other issue.
Because you didn't have enough. I had to throw in some other stuff.
Yeah, crooked spine.
I wonder if there's an app that people can use to track that same stuff.
I think there is. Yeah, I'm just I like pen and paper and
Thanks for calling yourself.
I just have an older school, I guess, mindset about it. Like, I don't know. My first instinct is not to download an app for stuff. I'm also not techy at all.
Right.
But there are great apps for tracking your moods if people were more into that. And you would just search it on your app store, bipolar mood tracker.
I could see probably with all the technology today, like I have a smart ring that I can wear and it'll tell me how much I've slept and pulse and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They probably have one directly to their where it also like
that would be, maybe I should get one of those.
Or like a warning.
Just starts dinging while I'm about to go into an episode. Big alarm goes off.
Get her away from people now. She's going to explode.
Run away.
Dishes are going to get thrown. Somebody remove the glass away from her right now. There probably is. I assume there's something that looks like that. But that makes sense. I know Justice's doctors have recommended she track certain things. Unfortunately, tracking her tracking seems to be a problem. So
it took a year of going through it for me to do everything I do now today. So it took a lot of misery to get me to the point where I was willing to do all of these things and to continue to do all these things, even though I feel like I'm getting a lot better. Yeah. That's the ticket with bipolar. It's when you start to feel better, you get your episodes down to 3 days a week, you start to tell yourself, maybe I don't need this heavy drug in my body. Maybe I don't need to track these things. Maybe I don't need therapy. Maybe I don't. And just going through it for a year and realizing I'm bipolar for the rest of my life and dealing with it and just dealing with all the things, the routine, the medication, the doctor's appointments.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. It's to simplify, it's like allergy medicine, right?
Yeah.
I stopped taking my allergy medicine. Guess what? I get miserable. Mm-hmm. But I stopped taking my allergy medicine because I felt better. Yeah. Right. And people just we do that to ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. I think it was probably Armchair Expert. action, what it was. And they had an addiction expert on there. And they were talking about how when people finally change any pattern, it's when not changing the pattern is worse than how did they word it?
It's tricky. Steve was stronger than the fear of the change, something like that. Yeah, that's Steve.
Something like that, where it's like there has to be a moment where it's like, okay, if the outcome of not changing is worse than the fear of changing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like anything in life, really, that we need, any habit, and whether it's an addiction, when I finally get up and say, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym and lose some of this weight because my back, like the fear of my back hurting at the gym is now less than the fear of my back hurting in the mornings. Right. Like we all go through those things. And whether it's mental health or addiction or being in a relationship, right? Like,
yeah,
there's that breaking point in bad relationships where it's like, okay, if now it's worth leaving, because if I don't, it's worse than what could possibly be out there. Not everybody's dealt with that so many different ways as you have, but just crazy that you watched that as a child and got involved with that as a child, and somehow here you are standing on the other side. No. Often at standing by the door, how often do you guys give your own, I'm going to call it a testimony because I don't know. Okay. How often do you still do that at your organization?
I haven't done it in a while. I am going to start teaching again, which will be a form of that. It'll be a 5-week course on what the 12 steps were like for me. But I haven't done a testimony on that year. And I would really like to, at some point, just be able to go up there and talk strictly about mental health, not about addiction, but just about mental health and what I went through in that year. Because for a lot of people, it was they didn't know what was happening. They didn't know why I wasn't around it. Because I was a staple in this community. I was a teacher, I was a driver, I was the assistant director, I was all these things, and then I was just gone. So I'd say, how often do we do it? Every week at church, we have someone get up and give their testimony. I haven't done it on a grander scale like that, but I've been sharing my story with individual cases and stuff like that as I see fit.
It's seems like it would be very cathartic and also hard to get up there and talk about that and share that story. The impact you have on your community has to be amazing when you're able to share that. My biggest thing with even this podcast is helping people realize that everybody goes through something, right? We all deal with these different levels of something, different degree. And anytime we've heard somebody go through something and come out the other side, I can't even say better, sometimes stronger, sometimes enlightened, sometimes scared shitless, whatever that is. That hearing that gives people strength, right? I was talking to my son about interviewing him the other day, and he said he was able to tell me things that he wanted to tell me for years because we were this element. It seemed different to him than just talking with his dad. Like it was almost like he wasn't as worried about disappointing, so to speak.
And you're helping other people while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So that becomes, I believe, more paramount than whatever we're doing.
Right.
It's the impact.
Yeah. I told him, I said, I think that's why I've been to a couple Al-Anon meetings. I've never been to an addiction meeting for myself. I have been drinking 4 years, but I literally just said, I'm not going to drink anymore.
Yeah, that's great too.
So that works for me, right? But I think there's something about that, just being able to talk, being able to share, that enables people to open up a little differently than they do sometimes with the people. If it's just people that I don't want to disappoint, if I'm talking to my wife or my kids about something and we're just around the kitchen table, it feels really heavy.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So I don't know. I've been around the 12 steps through other people in my life, my dad, my sister, other friends, family. Can you give me a brief synopsis real quick for any listener that doesn't quick run through what the 12 steps look like?
Like each one of them? When we admit that we're powerless and our lives have become unmanageable, it's just realizing that I can't use drugs successfully in any way, shape, or form anymore. Two is can we believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity? That's just believing the idea that something somewhere out there possibly might be able to help you with this problem. Three, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. That's just turning everything over to whatever that belief might be. It can be little, it can be big, it can be whatever. And four is a searching, fearless moral inventory that's writing out your resentments, your past sex conduct issues, and your fears. Five is praying over them. Five is taking that list and sharing it with another person and God. So that's praying over it and sitting down with somebody who's done this before, who've worked the 12 steps. 6 and 7 is defects and shortcomings. Become willing to be rid of all these things, this selfishness, this self-centeredness, this fear, this agitation, this whatever. 8 and 9 is willing to make amends and then making those direct amends wherever possible. They don't have to be made all tomorrow. God's timing is really important, so it shouldn't be as daunting of a step as people make it out. 10 is finding a way to take the inventory you did and continue it in your day-to-day life. And the big book offers you prayers on how to do that. It's just learning how to process things in a different way. It's reteaching, right? 11 is prayer and meditation, which is exactly what it sounds like. Learning to pray and meditate, which both things are very awkward if you haven't done. And then 12 is taking all of what you've learned and helping another person. And I remember them that well.
It's a 10. You didn't know Google was looking it up at the same time. I'm sure as soon as I open my phone, it'll be like, hey, you could have just read the 12 steps right here. Well, that's awesome. Do you have, before we get off here, you have any message that you want to share with people who may be going through, whether it be the addiction struggles that you've been around, or whether it be the bipolar struggles, or both? If somebody feels like they may be going through those things.
For addiction and alcohol, there's hope on the other side. And there's more help than you know right now. And for bipolar, I know it's scary. I know it's foreign. But you got to get some doctors and you got to see them on a regular basis. But that's it, really. I mean, I can go way into the routine, the sleep schedule, everything, but I think with bipolar, especially getting doctors and right medication.
Yeah, I mean, there's most good ones out there, right there.
Yeah, and get a different one if you don't have a good one. Right. There's plenty of them.
Whether that be the medicine or
the doctor.
Right. Yeah. And getting that support system was.
Yeah.
You don't. Sometimes people get stuck in a medicine or a doctor, and they're like, "Well, this is what it's supposed to work." Okay. Well, when it's not, let's keep trying.
Yeah. Without my mom, I'd be no support system too.
And I think organizations like Standing by the Door do a good job of providing that support for people who don't have that person.
We become your family.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that don't have that person, right? It's like you go back to you when you're 14.
Yeah.
And who's that person then?
Yeah.
Right? Like there wasn't. That's kind of how we ended up there.
Yeah.
And there's people, unfortunately, that are like that at 24, 34, and 44, 64, and so on. So to know that there are organizations out there that there's somebody there that's been through those things. And if they haven't, that's at least there to listen and be there now. So, thank you so much for coming here today and
Thank
being
you.
here with us.
Thank you. This was amazing.